And welcome back. And we're on to the 10th of Feb, the high of +5 a day. And let's have a look at this first question. Okay, so we appear to have a algebraic proof question to start with. So prove that the product of two odd numbers is always odd. As I've said in previous videos, and again, it's really important, so I'm going to say it again now, it does not say the word consecutive. So I'm going to let my odd numbers be 2m plus 1 and 2m plus 1. They are different because they're not connected, but they're both odd. Then I'm going to do the math, so that you do the setup and then you do the thing where you do the maths it wants you to do. So in this case, it wants you to multiply them together. So that's going to give me 4mn plus 2m plus 2n plus 1. And I need to show they are always odd. So I need to put it in the format of this. If I write it down, it's easier to say. So that's going to be lots of 2mn plus m plus n plus 1. And I would just say of form 2k plus 1, therefore odd. So proven or something. I mean, really you should write, and therefore the product of two odd numbers is always odd. So they know what you're doing. Next question. Okay, what do we have? It's a transformation question, isn't it? So the thing about these questions is it's going to give you, and here it gives me the points, -7, 0, -1, 0, and 0, 8. And it's going to ask you to basically map those points. So the key question is to know what you're doing in the transformation. So for this transformation here, takes all my y values, so it leaves my x values alone, and takes all my y values and multiplies them by -1. So -7 remains -7, -1 remains -1, and 0, 8 becomes 0 minus 8 down here. Now you don't need to worry too much about being super accurate with your scale. You just need to show you know what you're doing. So now the graph's going to do the exact opposite. It's going to come from underneath, it's going to bounce off here, and then it's going to go through here. Again, I've shown that I understand, and I'm probably going to even go a stage further, and I'd probably say reflect in x-axis. It just shows I know what's happening. But the way this is probably marked is based on you showing you understand their coordinates. Next one, sketch y equals f of minus x. So this one does the opposite. This one takes all the positive x values and makes them negative, and negative x values and makes them positive. So in other words, I'm reflecting in the y-axis. So my -7 becomes a 7, and my -1 becomes a 1. So I'm going to write 1 and 7, and it stays the same way around. So it is, try and get this right, so it comes up from here, bounces off here, and then goes still through 8. So it's going to look something like this. Now, in a real exam, and you haven't been given some great axes here, so it's a bit harder to do it super accurately, do a better job than I'm doing in making sure you keep the curve roughly correct. But this will do. I've shown the axis. I'm happy I've answered the question. Next question. Find the 20th term in the quadratic sequence. So it's told me it's quadratic. That's a good start. But I'm also going to need to know what the nth term is. So let's do the usual. So the difference is 1, 3, 5, and 7, which means my second difference, as they so often tends to be, is 2, 2, 2. So therefore my A term is 1. Now, as you know, I do this a slightly different way to how you might have been taught, because I just think it's neater and it stops you having to remember the formula. So I've got one lot of n squared. So in other words, my nth term is n squared. So I'm going to take my n squared away. One lot of n squared, to be clear, because a is 1. So let's write those numbers out. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, and 5 squared is 25. Then I'm going to take that away, and this tells me the remainder that I need to work out the linear sequence for. So 5 minus 1 is 4, 6 minus 4 is 2, 9 minus 9 is 0, I'm hoping this is minus 2, 14 minus 16 is indeed minus 2, and 21 minus 25 is minus 4. So this is a sequence that's going down by 2. I need to add 6 to get the first term. And all that, in fact, let's rub this out and write it here, is telling me my nth term is equal to n squared minus 2n plus 6. Now the question wants a 20th term, so the 20th term. Now, just to be clear, in a real exam it would say by using algebra also, it wouldn't want you to sit there and work out 20 terms. So I'm going to use a 20th term from the nth term, so that's going to be 20 squared, which is going to be a big number, minus 2 times 20. Let's write that slightly neater. So 2 times 20 plus 6. Get my calculator out again. It's very calculator heavy yesterday. Hopefully not too bad today. So 20 times 20 minus 40 plus 6 is going to give me 366. And that is the answer to that question. Okay, final question today. So we have, what do we have? Algebraic fractions solving. Okay, I'm going to do some of this on the left. Now, I try not to skip too many steps because the point of this is I'm showing you what to do, but at the same stage, I don't have a lot of room. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the common denominator x plus 3, x minus 1. So I'm going to multiply the 1 on the left by x minus 1, and I'm going to multiply the 1 on the right by x plus 3. And my new common denominator is going to be x plus 3, x minus 1, and all of this is equal to 1. Now, some teachers, actually including me mostly, multiply through the denominator in one go. You can do that, that's fine. I'm just doing the steps in between. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm now going to do that. So I'm going to expand the numerator, which is going to give me 7x minus 7 plus x plus 3 is equal to 1. I'm going to bring this up here, and I'm going to expand it in one go. So that's going to be x squared. X times minus 1 is minus x. 3 times x is 3x. 3x. So let's write that slightly neater. So 3x. And 3 times minus 1 is minus 3. And let's collect all this together very carefully. So I'm going to move over into the right-hand side. So I've got x squared. So I'm going to tick it off as I go. Okay, so let's do the x's. So minus x plus x is 2x. Minus 7x is minus 5x. Minus another x is minus 6x. So that gives me minus 6x. If you lost that bit, just go through step by step, move them across. Don't try and do it all in one go. Always risky anyway. And then I've got minus 3. Take away another 3 is minus 6. And then add 7 is going to give me plus 1. Phew, we got there. Not terrible. It says in the question, I didn't highlight it before, and I should have said this out loud. It says 2 decimal places. So this was never going to factorise, and it doesn't factorise. So this is a quadratic formula question. So my b term is minus 6. So therefore it's going to be 6 plus minus b squared, which is 36, minus 4 times 1, which is 4. And I'm going to divide all of that by 2. Let's write the step in between, then I can see what I put my calculator. So that's going to be 6 plus minus 32 divided by 2. So get my calculator out. So I'm basically going to use, I've got a class with, so you know. So fraction button on, 6 plus root 32 divided by 2. S to D is going to be 5.828427125. 2 decimal places gives me 5.83. And then the other one now, because I've got a class whiz or a graphical calculator or something similar, I can change a plus to a minus without having to type it all in again. And that gives me 3 minus 2 root 2, which is 0.17. And we got there. Answers today to the final question, 5.83 and 0.17. Usual thing, as ever, if you got that, well done. Nice little mix of questions today. It's quite difficult today. It's definitely getting more tricky, isn't it? So really testing you understand those topics. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks all.